So the first thing we need to be aware of is that most human characteristics are controlled by more than one gene. So many genes will control one characteristic. Eye colour in humans is controlled by a gene which controls the amount of melanin produced. Melanin is a protein that makes hair, eyes and skin darker in colour. A blue iris in your eye contains a small amount of melanin, and a brown iris will contain lots of melanin. It's believed that early humans living in Africa would all have had brown eyes. And as humans migrated north from Africa, a mutation would have occurred in the gene that controls melanin. This would result in people outside of Africa having blue eyes and fairer skin. This change to a gene that creates a new allele is called a mutation. Mutations occur during cell division. So just imagine for a moment that I gave you all 7 Harry Potter books and a large pile of paper and a pen, and I asked you to copy out word for word by hand every word from every Harry Potter book. The chances are you'd be able to do this quite accurately, accurate enough that someone else could come along, read what you've written and recognise them as the 7 Harry Potter books. The problem is there'd almost certainly be some spelling mistakes or some words missing or in the wrong order somewhere in the 7 books that you'd written out by hand. And we know that when cells copy themselves during mitosis, they first have to copy their entire DNA. And although this is done with a high degree of accuracy, sometimes that copying process isn't perfect. And when genes get accidentally copied incorrectly, we call this a mutation. The chances of a mistake happening when a cell copies its DNA during mitosis is increased depending on whether or not the DNA is damaged or you've been exposed to radiation or other substances. Often, a mutation will occur on the part of a gene that will have little or no effect on the protein produced, and so have little effect on the body. Some mutations, though, can produce big changes to proteins and therefore big changes to how the body works. Okay, so your main task today is going to be some independent research into cystic fibrosis. So cystic fibrosis is a condition that is caused by a mutated gene, and there are more than 10,000 people in the UK affected by cystic fibrosis. Because cystic fibrosis is caused by a mutated gene, it's something you're born with. You can't catch it later on in life. And about 1 in 25 of us carry the faulty gene without even knowing it. So on the next slide, we're going to talk through some success criteria which you'll need to use to help guide you through the research that you're going to do. Okay, so we can see here the success criteria for this task, and you can see that it's color coded. So the green section at the top is a section that every single student should be able to do. The first bit there that says, what is cystic fibrosis an example of? You should be able to answer that question just by having listened to the video so far and have listened to what I've been talking about. The rest of those questions in the green section, you'll need to go onto Google and carry out some independent research. So we want to know what mutation causes cystic fibrosis, what problems does it cause people who are affected by it, and how is it diagnosed? Once you finish the green section, I'd like everyone to have a go at answering the 2 questions in the orange section as well. So we want to know why you need 2 copies of the mutated gene in order to actually be affected by cystic fibrosis. Because we know that 1 in 25 people carry the gene, but only 10,000 people in the UK actually have cystic fibrosis. We also want to know what is the probability of a child having cystic fibrosis if both parents are carriers. And to answer that question, you'll need to look back at our previous lessons and you'll need to use a Punnett square in order to solve that problem. Once you've had a go at the green and the orange sections, try and have a go at the red section, which is slightly more difficult. If you're struggling with that, try and answer at least one of the red section questions, or if you're feeling confident, go for all three. So in terms of how you submit this work, you can either take these as a list of questions and then answer them one by one, or you can take the whole thing and create an essay that covers all of those questions. It's entirely up to you, and I'm quite happy for you to either handwrite this and take a picture and then email that into me, or if you prefer, create a Word document, type out your answer in whatever format you like, and then just email me that instead. There's also some questions underneath this video on the form. Have a go at answering those and then get started on your research project. As always, if you're stuck or you need help, please drop me an email and I'll do what I can to help you.